So since we have moved into a farmhouse, coming from the city, we have decided to get chickens. We have a love for animals, and this is my first time actually incubating eggs. Usually we just get them as chicks from like Tractor Supply or something. So I'm really interested to see how this turns out. I cannot wait. I have a little over a dozen in there, and I did candle them last night, and it looks like they're starting to develop. For anybody that wants to incubate, it is a little difficult to start out. It's difficult to get the humidity level is supposed to be around like 50-60 for your first incubation for the first couple of weeks, and then the last like 2 weeks you want to be 70-80, and the temperature is supposed to be about 99.5 to 100.5. This little incubator here is actually a really good brand. It actually works very well, but you can see the temperature it was going down because I opened it. But it will tell you on this screen right here when it's set for eggs when you initially start, and that is when you put them in. You're supposed to rotate like 2 to 3 times a day. I've been doing about 2 times a day, morning, evening, and you want to keep it in not a cool area. You want to keep it in a area where there's no draft. So I have them actually out on our front porch that's actually completely closed in, to keep it out of the weather and everything, and to make sure that the heat out here is kind of even and doesn't get too chilly but does not get too hot, to help the incubator work correctly and keep the right temperature. So I am very interested, very nervous at the same time, but very interested to see how this turns out. I love chickens. We've always had them until we moved to the city last year, and then we had to obviously give them away. We couldn't take them to the city, and we're finally back in the country where we want chickens back, and it's been difficult. It's been very difficult to find chicks, actually. They sell up pretty fast. I'm sure everybody is experiencing that. So with us being used to having them, we decided to try to incubate since it's been hard. And I will keep this updated as time goes on. We're about a little over a week into the process. It takes about 21 days to hatch. So as time goes on, I will keep this updated and let everybody see the hatching process. I'm very nervous about it, with it being my first time, but as I stated, there's definitely some growth in there. I candled all the eggs last night, and I can see the process starting. The veins are starting to show. Also, I did forget, you also want to make sure with the humidity level with these incubators. These are really nice. They do have ones that you can buy, the exact same brand. The newer ones you can buy that actually rotate the eggs themselves. But if you can see there's little divots in there, though, that's where the water goes. And you want to use a little turkey baster or something to put the water in there, because you don't want the water actually on the eggs, on the shell. I am very careful about it. I just use a bottle of water. I don't use sink water. I just use a bottle of water at room temperature and put that in there and make sure they're filled every day. And once it gets closer to the end, I can show a little more candling of them. But that is what we have so far. I know they're mixed breeds. We do have one, the smallest one up front here is actually a silky chick. So I'm hoping that really hatches. But here is what we have. And there's a little thermometer on there that actually hangs there to keep a track of everything. But this thing works very, very well. The heat, I can feel the heat coming off of there pretty good. So yeah, everybody, if you guys want to see more of this, just let me know, and I will do maybe something on it every 2 days, just to show the progress. I can show you some candling. It's really, until we get closer to the end, just this is what I can show every day. It's just me rotating them, and maybe some of the candling, just to keep an eye on them. You do want to be very careful when you're rotating manually so they don't crack. You don't want any cracked eggs.